Hi. Hi. Gunnar has just walked in, and we'll get him on the air to tell us.
No problem at all. Again, I'm sorry I'm late.
No problem.
DART office is abuzz with the great news we received this afternoon from the offices of Senator Harkin and Congressman Boswell. There's $10 million coming Des Moines' way to complete the funding package for a new transit hub for DART.
Oh, okay. So how did that come about, and how long was that in process?
Well, the project has been in the works for, a decade, I'd say, in some form or another, and it's been really intense the last couple of years. And at the beginning of this year, it was an if. We really didn't know if it was going to be built. But then the project received $4 million in iJobs money from, with the help of Senator Matt McCoy and Governor Chet Culver. And then this spring, we received $6.5 million federal grant from the Bus and Bus Livabilities grant. And then now we received the $10 million from Tiger 2.
Oh, okay.
So now the project is fully funded. It's just a matter of time, just a matter of getting it done now.
Okay, and so it's all official, and I guess since it's being released to the public, we can look forward to the shovels coming out and the jackhammers and.
Well, this, like I said, this just happened this afternoon,
Yeah.
and so plans are being made to do some sort of ceremony next week, because this is going to be great for Des Moines and great for our riders in particular.
Oh, it does sound great, because I was just talking to our viewers about job creation, and I can imagine that will create a lot of opportunities all in Iowa who are, skilled in those arenas and might be hoping for inclusion on a project like that.
That's right. It's going to be a $21 million project and not your run-of-the-mill project. And it requires some very high skilled workers. Right now we're working toward getting the documents to 100% ready, so that early next year we can go out for bid on them.
Okay.
Then once we have a contractor selected, we will be able to break ground officially in the spring.
Oh, okay.
And we had been thinking before this grant announcement that we may have to build the project in phases. Now with this, now being fully funded, we can build this straight through. So that'll save the taxpayers money ultimately.
Yeah.
And so it could be done as early as fall of 2012.
Okay, and then also, do you recall offhand some of the features of that transit hub that would kind of make it or improve on what we have right now?
Sure. As you recall, the main hub of the entire system, the entire bus system in Des Moines right now is the transit mall along Walnut Street. The transit hub will replace this and become the new heart of the system. It will, for the first time, offer indoor waiting areas, public restrooms, and a customer service desk. And that the customer service desk may sound trivial, but really it's very important. Right now, if somebody wants to ask a question of a DART staff member, they have to walk considerable ways to go there. Now they will be located at the heart of the system and will be very accessible. And two, they'll be able to buy passes there. This is another crucial barrier to break down to increase ridership for DART. Right now, there's really no place to go buy bus passes, and there hasn't been since Yonkers closed.
Did they used to be for sale at Yonkers?
Right.
Oh, okay.
They used to be for sale downtown at Yonkers, but since they left, we've had a hard time finding a vendor who would sell them on our behalf. And so you'd have to go out a ways to Dawes or a Hy-Vee to buy a bus pass. Now we'll have them in-house, very conveniently located downtown.
Okay, and I'm gonna put the camera on myself a quick minute just to mention for myself, I'm a bus rider, and I do buy my pass at Hy-Vee, and I definitely think that the transit mall is a great idea. Often I have lots of questions about what's going on, and for instance, recently I lost a stack of books on the bus, and I did, call, and I recovered them and got a sturdy DART bag to hold them with, and so I was really happy about that. But I think having that service readily accessible, like in the downtown area, is a great idea. Do you know about how long the construction might take?
Well, we're thinking that the earliest we would be able to have it done is fall of 2012.
Mhm.
So we're looking at about a couple of years from now,
Okay.
having it open and ready.
All right. Sounds good to me.
To get back to your point
Uh-huh.
about this being a project for highly skilled workers,
Mhm.
it's not going to be a run-of-the-mill project. It's not going to be a steel shed or a
Okay.
brick cinder box. It's going to be it's going to feature many glass walls on the
Uh-huh.
building itself, and a sweeping canopy that covers the bus bays or portions of the bus bays, at least all the walkways, and then wraps up around the glass box building. There are going to be a lot of green elements incorporated into it.
I was just about to ask you about that.
Yeah, there are going to be, I think, in the neighborhood of 70 geothermal wells
Mhm.
underneath the site, helping to power the facility. There will also be solar technology built into the canopy of the canopy of the transit hub. Is another source of renewable power.
Okay.
We will also be recycling the rainwater
Oh, okay.
that comes on there and
Mhm.
using that to flush toilets, among other things.
Mhm. Well, this is good because I was just reading an article earlier about the Wellmark construction
Mhm.
that was just completed, and in the Des Moines Register, they were mentioning a lot of the green elements that were associated with the Wellmark project,
Right.
and rain recycling was one of them. And I even said, well, I hope other construction projects follow suit, and it sounds, it's all catching on.
Well, it's very important
Yeah.
for the state's only regional transit
Mhm.
authority to project an image of green, because of course using public transit is one of, if not the number one thing people can do to reduce their carbon footprint.
That's true. Okay, so I'm going to show an article that I ran across recently, and this is a study that was published by the Associated Press, and it says, Riders Ready for Rail Service to Des Moines. So that's actually not Metro, but it's Amtrak, and it's saying that, and this is from April 18th of 2008, so about 2 years ago, that Amtrak studied the possibility of rail service between Iowa City and Chicago, and how much it would cost and the feasibility. And they're saying that it would be years before something like that could happen. But I was wondering what your own thoughts on the idea of transit, not just within Des Moines, but public transit coming from Chicago to Iowa City to Des Moines.
We regularly hear from riders who are very excited at the prospect of having passenger rail from Chicago through Des Moines and then on to Omaha, and that is something in particular that local leaders have been championing in Washington, D.C. And there is a lot of hope that it will in fact happen within the next 5 years or so.
Okay.
And to tie this back into the transit hub is being built south of Cherry Street between 6th Avenue and 7th Street. And those of you who are familiar with the city will know that that is about 2 blocks away from the old rail station.
Mm-hmm.
And that is currently slated as the most likely site to relocate a station for Amtrak. So right now it's looking like we would help create a transportation campus
Okay.
on the southern edge of downtown, with the transit hub being one of the major anchors of it. And then within a couple of blocks, the rail station. And so
Okay.
it would be conceivable for you to hop the bus from your house, zip downtown on a dark bus,
Mhm.
walk 1 block,
Mhm.
and to your train to Chicago.
Okay. That does sound pretty reasonable, because I know that we also recently got Megabus service that comes from Chicago, and then it stops in Iowa City, and then stops on, I think, Walnut Street in downtown Des Moines.
Right.
And I've ridden it once myself, and then I've also seen lines of other riders, and mostly catching the college students in Iowa City back and forth each way. So does it sound like that Amtrak too would be welcome?
Without question, I know when the news of Megabus was welcomed here at Darton by a lot of our riders, we actually did a promotion where that first month they could ride Dart for free if they were heading on to Megabus.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there is very much similar excitement for passenger rail between Des Moines and Chicago.